Okay, settle in. Because I need to tell you about something incredible that happened. Something that starts with heartache, but ends with a moment so powerful. It could give you chills. Have you ever felt like your own voice betrays you? Like the words are right there, trapped inside, but they just won't come out smoothly. Imagine feeling that way every single day, especially when all eyes are on you. That was Leo's reality. Leo was just 17, a sweet kid, really. Maybe a little shy, a little awkward, like lots of teenagers. But Leo had something else he carried with him, a stutter. It wasn't just a little hesitation here and there. Sometimes, especially when he was nervous or felt rushed, the words would get stuck, caught somewhere between his brain and his mouth, like hitting a wall, and his face would flush red. His hands might start to tremble slightly. It was agony for him. He worked part-time at the local grocery store, Green Valley Foods. Not the fanciest job, but it was honest work. He needed the money to help his mom out. She worked 2 jobs already, and things were always tight. Leo wanted to ease her burden, even just a little, and maybe, just maybe, save up enough for an old, used guitar he'd seen in a pawn shop window. Music was his escape, the one place his voice felt free, even if he mostly just hummed or strummed silent chords in his room. His main job was bagging groceries. Seems simple, right? Put the bread on top, double bag the milk, ask paper or plastic. But even that small interaction could be a minefield for Leo. Some customers were kind, patient. They'd offer a gentle smile, wait quietly while he navigated his words. Bless those people. They were like little rays of sunshine in his often cloudy day. But then there were the others, the impatient ones, tapping their fingers, rolling their eyes, the teenagers who'd snicker under their breath. And worst of all, the outright cruel ones. There was this one group of older guys, probably college age, who seemed to get a kick out of tormenting him. They'd come in late on Friday nights, always buying beer and junk food, and they always made sure to get in Leo's checkout line. The first time it was just Snickers. Leo was trying to ask if they wanted paper or plastic. The PPP sound got stuck. He felt his cheeks burn hot. One of the guys mimicked him, exaggerating the sound. PPP peeper, I guess. His friends erupted in laughter. Leo just looked down, finished bagging their things as fast as his shaking hands would allow, and mumbled a hey have a good night. He felt hollow inside, ashamed. It didn't stop there. They made it a routine. Every Friday, they'd ask him pointless questions just to watch him struggle. Hey kid, can you tell me where the C-key cookies are? Followed by loud, obnoxious laughter. Leo learned to dread Fridays. He'd feel a knot tighten in his stomach as soon as his shift started. He thought about quitting, many times, but the image of his mom's tired face, and the dream of that old guitar, kept him going. He just tried to make himself small and visible, hoping they wouldn't notice him, hoping they'd choose another line. His manager, Mr. Henderson, wasn't much help. He was always stressed, always rushing. He'd heard the mocking once or twice, but just told Leo to toughen up and try to speak more clearly. Easy for him to say. Mr. Henderson didn't seem to grasp the depth of Leo's struggle, or the cruelty of the mockery. To him, Leo was just a slightly inefficient employee. One Saturday afternoon, the store was unusually busy, like packed. Every checkout lane was open, and the lines snaked back deep into the aisles. Leo was working lane 3, sweating a little under the fluorescent lights, trying his best to keep up. He was actually having an okay day. Most customers were preoccupied, rushing, barely noticing him. He felt a small sense of relief. Then he saw them, the Friday night crew. But it wasn't Friday, and they looked bolder, louder. Maybe they'd been drinking already. They pushed their cart, loaded with snacks and sodas, right into his line, cutting off an elderly woman. She looked startled, but didn't say anything. Leo's heart sank. Not today. Please, not today. He took a deep breath as they reached the bagging area. He tried to focus just on the groceries, cold items together, cans on the bottom, eggs protected. He worked silently, hoping they wouldn't start, but of course they did. Mark, the usual ringleader, leaned over the counter, a smug look on his face. Hey bubug boy, he sneered. His voice was loud enough for people nearby to hear. Heads started to turn. Gonna take you all day to finish. His friends howled with laughter. Leo felt his face flush crimson. He could feel dozens of eyes on him now, some curious, some pitying, some annoyed that the line was being held up. He tried to ignore them, fumbling with a plastic bag. "What's wrong? Cat got your tea to tongue?" Another one chimed in, poking Mark's arm. Leo desperately tried to ask if they wanted bags for their sodas. DDDU. And then need. He couldn't get the word out. It was stuck. The wall was thicker, higher than ever. He felt a wave of panic wash over him. He wanted the ground to swallow him whole. Mark leaned in closer, his voice dripping with fake sympathy. "Oh, look at him. He can't even talk. What good are you, huh?" Tears pricked Leo's eyes. He blinked them back furiously. Not here, not in front of everyone. He felt so utterly humiliated, so completely alone. The laughter around him seemed to echo, getting louder and louder in his ears. Mr. Henderson was busy at the other end of the store. Nobody was stepping in. Nobody was helping. He was trapped. And then, something shifted. A man standing a couple of people back in the line stepped forward. He hadn't been noticeable before, just another customer in jeans. A worn t-shirt, maybe a scarf loosely tied, sunglasses perched on his head even indoors. He had a calm but intense look about him. He walked slowly, deliberately, right up to the counter beside Leo. The noisy group paused mid-laugh, surprised by the interruption. They looked the man up and down, clearly unimpressed. The man didn't raise his voice. He didn't yell. He just spoke. His voice quiet, but carrying a surprising weight. It cut through the lingering laughter like a knife. "Is there a problem here?" he asked, looking directly at Mark. Mark, thrown off guard but trying to regain his bravado, puffed out his chest. "Nah man, just having some fun with the help." He gestured vaguely towards Leo. The man's eyes didn't leave Mark's face. "Fun? Does this look like fun to you?" He tilted his head slightly towards Leo, who was still frozen, cheeks burning, eyes wide. Leo recognized the man now. He'd seen his face in movies, on magazine covers. His heart pounded even harder, but for a different reason. It was Johnny Depp, standing right there, next to him. Mark and his friends seemed to recognize him around the same moment. Their jaws went a little slack. The smugness faltered. Johnny Depp continued, his voice still calm, almost gentle, but with an unmistakable edge of steel. "Making fun of someone? Especially someone who's just trying to do his job. That's not fun. That's cruel. And it's weak." He paused, letting the words hang in the air. The area around the checkout had gone completely silent. Everyone was watching, listening intently. You could hear the hum of the freezers. "Everybody struggles with something," Johnny Depp went on, his gaze sweeping over Mark and his friends, then softening slightly as it rested on Leo for a moment. "Everybody has something they're working through. You think it makes you look big, pointing out someone else's struggle. It doesn't. It makes you look incredibly small." Mark mumbled something incoherent, looking at his shoes. His friends suddenly seemed very interested in the patterns on the linoleum floor. The bravado had completely evaporated. They looked like scolded children. Johnny Depp wasn't finished. He leaned slightly towards Leo, ignoring the bullies now. "Hey," he said softly. Leo looked up, startled. "You're doing a great job, kid. Don't let anyone ever make you feel ashamed for who you are." Leo couldn't speak. He could only nod, a single tear finally escaping and tracing a path down his hot cheek. It wasn't a tear of shame anymore. It felt different, like relief. Johnny Depp then turned back to Mark and his friends. "Now, I think you owe this young man an apology. And then maybe you should take your things and find some kindness somewhere in yourselves. It's usually free." There was a beat of stunned silence. Mark swallowed hard. He looked around at the watching crowd, at Johnny Depp's unwavering gaze, and finally mumbled a barely audible, "Sorry." His friends mumbled apologies too, their faces red with embarrassment now, not laughter. They quickly paid the cashier, grabbed their bags without meeting Leo's eye, and practically fled the store. The onlookers started murmuring, some nodding in approval, others still looking starstruck. Johnny Depp gave Leo a small, reassuring nod. He paid for his own items, just a bottle of water and a pack of gum, at the now stunned cashier's register. Before leaving, he paused beside Leo one last time. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper and a pen. He scribbled something quickly, folded it again, and pressed it into Leo's hand. "Keep your head up," he said, his voice low and kind. Then he gave a little half-smile, touched the brim of an imaginary hat, and walked out of the grocery store, melting back into the afternoon anonymity. As quickly as he had appeared, Leo stood there for a moment, his legs feeling shaky. The store was still buzzing, but it felt distant. He looked down at the folded paper in his trembling hand. He slowly unfolded it. It wasn't just a scribble, it was a short note. It read, "Leo, your voice is stronger than you think. Never let anyone dim your light. Keep strumming. JD." And below the initials, tucked into the corner, was a surprisingly good quick sketch of a guitar. Leo felt a warmth spread through his chest, chasing away the cold shame. He looked up. The elderly woman who had been cut off in line smiled warmly at him. Another customer gave him a thumbs up. Even Mr. Henderson hurried over, suddenly looking concerned, asking if Leo was okay, muttering something about unacceptable behavior from those guys. It seemed Johnny Depp's presence had shaken everyone up. Something changed for Leo that day. The stutter didn't magically disappear. There were still hard moments, awkward interactions, but the shame, that heavy, suffocating cloak of shame, started to lift. Johnny Depp's words, his simple act of defense, had somehow given Leo a shield. He didn't quit his job. In fact, he started to feel a little different. Walking into Green Valley Foods, he held his head a little higher. When customers were impatient, he still felt nervous, but he didn't crumble inside. He remembered the note, folded carefully in his wallet. "Your voice is stronger than you think." The bullies never bothered him again. Maybe they were too embarrassed. Maybe they actually learned something. Or maybe they were just afraid of running into a movie star defending the bag boy. Whatever the reason, their cruelty vanished from Leo's life. And Leo, he kept working. He kept helping his mom. And eventually he saved up enough money. He bought that old used guitar from the pawn shop. It wasn't fancy, but it felt perfect in his hands. Sometimes, late at night in his room, he'd strum the chords and hum his own melodies. And sometimes, he'd even sing, quietly at first, then a little louder. His voice wasn't always perfectly smooth when he sang either, but it was his. It was strong, and he wasn't ashamed of it anymore. He was finding his own way to let his light shine, just like the man with the kind eyes and surprising sketch had encouraged him to do. That single moment of unexpected kindness, that defense from a stranger who just happened to be famous, didn't just shut down the bullies. It echoed. It changed the atmosphere of that store, maybe reminded a few people about empathy, and most importantly, it helped a young man find the strength that was already inside him, waiting to be acknowledged. It showed that sometimes, all it takes is one person stepping forward to make an incredible difference. Wow, what a story, right? It just goes to show how powerful kindness and standing up for someone can be. We hope Leo's story touched your heart as much as it touched ours. If you felt that emotional connection, please give this video a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments what you thought, or if you've ever witnessed or experienced an act of kindness like this. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next story. Sharing this video helps spread these messages of hope and compassion even further. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.